completely unpleasant. Meghan's touch with kids proves what we've always thought about her. Absolutely. You can glean a lot about someone's character by watching how they interact with children. And when it comes to Meghan Markle, a few video clips can reveal a whole lot. Welcome back to the Royal News 365 YouTube channel. Now, when we talk about our Duchess of Double Standards, given her advocacy for empowering young women, you'd think she'd relish spending time with the next generation, right? Well, hold on to your hats. Picture my surprise when I was casually scrolling through Twitter and stumbled upon this viral clip about to spill the beans. It's worth noting that this incident unfolded just a couple of months after the whole marrying Harry affair. So, the reactions you're about to witness might be due to her not yet acclimated to the royal gig that lay ahead. Meghan was still a newbie to this whole royal shebang, which might explain her unease. Who'd have thought? They were at a stadium in Dublin, Ireland, and lo and behold, found themselves surrounded by these little munchkins. The interaction kicked off, and I'm about to dissect it frame by frame so you can catch every nuance of Meghan's reaction to the kiddo. And hey, let's not forget about Harry. He chimes in too, and boy, is it intriguing. Hang tight, we're almost there. I reckon that's about it. Your initial impression of Meghan might be that she's pretty chill, shoulders relaxed, posture easygoing, and even though the video quality isn't top-notch, she's sporting a sweet smile. But then, just as we hit play, things take a turn. She clocks that the kid's about to pull a move with their arm or already has, and bam, she takes a half step back. She was right here, and then she's there just a smidge back, and bam, the smile's vanished. But remember, we need more clues to piece this puzzle together. Maybe she was just reacting to the kid's initial move, and that's a key takeaway. I doubt she was even looking at the kid, cause her head and eyes ain't aligned. My bet? She was shooting a glance at the kid's dad. Now, I can't tell what you're seeing on your screen. I can't decipher your view, but from where I'm standing, that's the scoop. And let's not forget, it's natural to zoom in on faces and expressions, given our brain's wired for it. But hey, keep an eye on those body cues sans the mug. So let's zone in on Meghan's body without the face. So Meghan's body it is, sans face, and let's see what unfolds. She takes a teensy step back, then bam, her hand snaps shut in defense mode. And yep, you guessed it, she's got her clutch locked down with both mitts. Now, that's just one piece of the puzzle, suggesting a tad bit of defensiveness, maybe a hint of shyness. But hey, body language is a tricky game, and you need a few more signals to crack the code. And from those closed fists, it's clear she's already hunching. You remember her initial posture, how relaxed she seemed. Her shoulders were broad, standing tall, but in this instance, she's dropping her chin towards her chest, and there's a slight hunch to her stance. Yeah, for sure, that's another indication that she's feeling defensive, not too keen on the child reaching out to her, and what you'll notice next is that her body is shifting away from both the child and the father. So in this body language orchestra, that's how we pick up on something being amiss. There's resistance, defensiveness, and a hint of awkwardness in the air. Now let's zero in on Meghan's hands once again and pay attention to her left elbow. This is a very subtle move, but just a split second after she clasps her hands onto her purse, she subtly extends her left elbow. Mind you, she's leaning away from the child, and there's that subtle extension of her left elbow. That's just another subtle defensive move, so we've got at least 3 defensive cues, and we can confidently say, yeah, she was feeling defensive at that moment. Not only that, but we also observe that she frees up her left hand in a way that suggests readiness or preparedness for something. And guess what's happening with her face at this very moment? As she's getting her hand ready to react in some way, her chin and her jaw just forward. She's pushing her chin forward. That's a very, very subtle sign of underlying anger or discomfort. Quite uncomfortable, but it's often associated with anger. From that position, she tries to flash a smile again, but whatever that is, it's not a full-fledged smile. It's not genuine. She's trying to yap, play it nice, but she really doesn't liking what's happening. And what comes next? Look at her shoulders. It's worth looking at her shoulders. Let's rewind a bit and see what unfolds. She just steps away. She attempts to flash a broad smile, but she steps away. Clearly steps away from the child. Okay, like, don't touch me, kid. Please don't do it. And You can tell by her expression in that moment that smile, well, it just doesn't hit the mark. The corners of her lips aren't turning upwards, they're pointing sideways, and her eyes, well, nothing even remotely resembling a smile. Again, we scrutinize her body language in this exact moment when she's attempting to smile and, well, play it nice. And she's not just leaning, but both of her hands are now in a defensive posture. And it's intriguing that not once does she acknowledge the child's existence, establishing any kind of eye contact with him. Imagine how much we can glean from just 4 seconds of footage. We're not even halfway through. And this is a complete anthology in body language on defensiveness and, yeah, discomfort with the situation. Meghan doesn't really know what to do next, and she opts to look away. Hey, I'm going to look away. Maybe he'll go on his own. Let's think of pleasant things while it happens. Let's think of pleasant things while this happens. And the child just wants to touch her hair. How cute is that? Now let's talk about Harry, because Harry is also a key player here. And Harry makes some sort of intervention, but we just can't spot him because he blends in with the background due to low contrast. He's also a bit obscured, so we're having a bit of trouble spotting him, but take note of this. He's greeting someone. This is something I've mentioned to you many times. He's using his eyebrows to greet someone. It's a gesture we often use. It's a gesture of goodwill. We should get accustomed to it. He's not looking at the child. He's looking beyond the child to someone else, but somehow he realizes that there might have been some resistance from Meghan in that moment to what was happening. Notice what he does next. Let's slow it down. He leans in towards Meghan as if he's trying to get her attention. His head is pointing towards her. Then she responds with a kind of, "Oh, look who's here, little one. How are you? Let's zoom in a bit so you can see." Watch Harry's head. He leans towards Meghan, almost as if he's whispering something to her. Notice his head pointing towards her, indicating he's communicating with her. And that's when Meghan responds with a forced, "Hey, hello, how are you? I understand this must have been uncomfortable for Meghan." The child just wanted to touch her face. Some kids explore the world kinesthetically by touching. That's why he wanted to touch her hair. And when she got closer, he wanted to touch her face. That's natural for some children. But even if it's natural, I understand it could be a bit uncomfortable. That's why Meghan understandably reaches out her hand and interacts with the child's hand. I don't see any issue with this gesture. It was kind. However, what's odd is Meghan actively ignoring the child for the past 6 seconds. Not only ignoring him, but trying to act like, oh my God, maybe he'll go away at some point. But no, the kid was consistent. That kid is going places. Consistency will take you far in life. I tried to find a higher resolution, but even the licensed option didn't have enough pixels to discern Meghan's facial expression when the child's hand was on her face. But from what I can gather, she didn't seem to enjoy it much. But let's talk about Harry. He seemed quite playful at that moment. He had a nice smile. Meghan even made a silly face at the child. "Hey, oh, hello," she greeted, raising her eyebrows. Remember, raising eyebrows is a gesture of goodwill. And the Marco claw? No, it's not the Marco claw. She was just trying to tickle the kid. Tickle him a little. You can use your entire hand. You can tickle them like this. I don't see any issue with this gesture. She was trying to make physical contact with the kid to connect with him the way he wanted. Another clue that the child needed that kinesthetic connection is that he touched Meghan's face and immediately afterward, he touched his own face. Yeah, it's that sensation of exploring the world through touch. It's quite evident that he starts by touching her shoulder, then attempts to touch her hair, and finally reaches for her face. Yeah, it's all about exploration. Now, I've come across some Sussex fans claiming that the child was pushing Meghan. Can you believe it? How absurd. Well, I have my doubts when it comes to the laws of mass and physics. The father was supporting all of the child's weight standing upright. I highly doubt the child's weight alone could have pushed Meghan to one side. So no, that's a definite no from me. One more thing that caught my attention, and I'd like your input on this one, is when Harry reaches out to Meghan, right? He does. But what's with the gesture he makes with his hand afterward? He extends his index finger and points it toward the kid's face. Now, was he being silly? Playful, perhaps? I mean, Harry, what was that gesture all about? I just couldn't decipher its meaning. Maybe it was just a playful moment, but I'm eager to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and share this video with fellow enthusiasts. Plus, subscribe to Royal News 365 for more updates in the future. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye and catch you later.